What is going on right now in the Middle East? And before you answer that, let me preface that question with this. I mean, with this right here. You know, there was reports of Israeli bombing of Iran, and when this report came out, I did not believe it, and I'm still halfway like torn by that, because I was watching a lot of Eastern news channels at the time of this, and then I was watching Press TV Live, and they were showing the actual areas where the so-called bombings were supposed to have taken place, and there were no bombings. The people were all the way you would think a normal city would be. Is this Israel and the United States trying to save face with with small quadcopters from inside of Iran to try to save face? Because a source told me a few nights ago that the United States kept pleading with Iran to allow for Israel to strike some unimportant place just to save face, and Iran was like, "We're not going for that." What do you say on this matter?
Well, I mean, Israel had an opportunity right after the Iran counterstrike on Israel to just declare victory and be done with it, because you know what Iran did in response to Israeli bombing of Iranian embassy in Damascus is to send a message to Israel. So Iran targeted specifically military targets inside Israel. Even though we all saw the picture of the Iranian missile flying on top of Israeli parliament. We know they could target the much more serious target, but Iran chose to target very carefully. They targeted the military target, specifically the air base where Israeli launched the airstrike on Iranian embassy, and Iran sent enough missiles and drones such that it put a stress on the Israeli air defense system. You know, we all saw the videos where the Iranian missiles landed. You know, so the Israeli claim that we intercepted 99% of the missile. That's all bogus. We saw the missile strike their target, and but again, you know, Israel has a lot of propaganda power in the West. You know, a lot of the corporate media are basically doing their bidding. So they're already pumping out all the message, say, oh, our wonderful Iron Dome, or like it's working perfectly, 99%. The missile shot down. So that's actually an opportunity for Israel to stand down and say, oh, just declare victory. Look, we shot down 99% of the Iranian missile, even though it's totally bogus. And just say, okay, everything is working. This is victory. And then that was a chance for de-escalation, because Iranian response was to send a message. I was talking to Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter said, it was a punch, it was a tap on the nose. It was put on Israeli on notice, because what we saw was during the Iranian counterstrike, United States and its vassal states had to pitch in. U.S. and also Jordan, they also have to pitch in to help shooting down Iranian missiles and drones. So we know that if Iran just send a little bit more missiles and drones, they will all find their target, because the Israeli Iron Dome system has been saturated. We know this for a long time. If you send enough missiles, it's going to overwhelm the anti-air defense system. But Iran was just sending a message, putting Israeli on notice, like, we have the capability. So this was a perfect opportunity for Israel to stand down. Yet Israeli government is not being rational. We know that they're trying to escalate the conflict further. But I think they don't. But they cannot carry out serious retaliation against Iran without U.S. help, because they're going to need the satellite. They're going to need the U.S. providing the satellite intelligence and also a field. U.S. when Israeli if they're going to launch F-35 to strike in Iran, they probably need the air refueling capability of the United States to help them out. So we know U.S. right now is so overstretched in many fronts all across the world. They're engaged in the losing proxy war in Ukraine against Russia. They're trying to escalate in South China Sea against China. The last thing Biden administration want to do is get bogged down in Middle East. So they want to calm things down. But that's not Israeli plan. Israeli plan is to drag United States in deeper. So what we saw with the so-called Israeli strike on Iran, yeah, I think you're totally right. It's to save face. Just Israel is acting like a petulant child. It's like, okay, we gotta show them. We gotta show them that anybody who strike us, we're gonna strike back, even though Israel struck first. Israel has been striking Iranian target for over 10 years, and Iran always turned the other cheek. This is the first instance when Iran launched a direct strike against Israeli soil, or occupy Palestine, really. Because another target Iran struck was a military base in Golan Heights, which is not even Israeli territory, right? Golan Heights is occupied Syrian territory, and so what Israel is doing is they're trying to save face, but they seem to have some, the Mossad, they have some assets apparently inside Iran, because it launches this quadrocopters. They can't launch it from Israel and make it all the way to Iran, right? And we know that.
Right.
So they must have some assets inside Iran that they activated to carry out the strike. And I um, here in the West, we just receive propaganda from mainstream media, but thankfully people have other channels. I remember watching Noah Smith tweeting, say, "Oh, Iranian people love us Americans. They hate their government. I was watching, but now we have more media channels. I was browsing on Douyin, which is a Chinese domestic version of TikTok, and there's a Iranian girl who speaks perfect Chinese, who is posting on Douyin explaining what the situation was inside Tehran. And she's saying, no, like, we're just carrying on our everyday routine, and there was nothing out of ordinary in Tehran. Tehran did not get hit at all. We're carrying on a normal life. Also, Israelis are being bastards doing this. And so Iranians are being patriotic. It doesn't matter how they feel about their government. They're all proud Iranians, and they don't take kindly to the fact that Israel is breaching Iranian sovereignty and be acting like a jackass. But I think at this point, the fact that Israel the striking capability against Iran is limited, because because like I said, they will need the go ahead from the United States, because they don't need logistic support from the U.S. military to carry out such a strike. And U.S. at this point does not want to escalate, doesn't want to get dragged into a wider Middle East war on behalf of Israel. And this is why they carry out that ridiculous quadrocopter strike against Isfahan. There's conflicting report. First, they say they struck the Iranian nuclear facility, and then they backtrack, says, "Oh, they struck a missile base," and this is to save face. To save face that this also let us know that the Iranian strike on Israel actually hurt. This it hurt enough that Israel felt they need to do a counter strike. I mean, despite all the propaganda saying, "Oh, we intercepted 99% of the Iranian countermeasures," because Israel felt like they need to do something, even to the point they're willing to sacrifice and expose their Mossad operation inside Iran. Because right now, Iranian government is probably hunting down all those Israeli operatives inside the Iranian territory right now who launches quadrocopters. So it's hopefully this is a sign that things will cool off a little bit, because Iran by striking Israel has shown Iran has a deterrence. You know, if Israel is going to strike Iran, Iran will hit back, and this hope. So the thing is, if Israel is a rational actor, we would expect things to calm down already. Well, if Israel was a rational actor, they wouldn't have struck Iranian embassy in the first place.
Right.
But their whole game is to escalate all across the region, not just Iran, but Syria and Lebanon. Their goal is to drag United States in a deeper, wider war. And so Benjamin Netanyahu can stay on his position as a wartime president of Israel to save his own political ass. Because if he's not in office, he's gonna be in jail. He's faced corruption charges, and I'm pretty sure those corruption charges are real. But as long as there's war, as long as he tried to show his voters that Israel faced existential threat, then he will be able to climb to power. And this is a motivation for which explain a lot of Israeli actions right now. But there is United States interest involved because U.S. currently do not want to get to widen the conflict. So there's a hope that they will tamp things down a little, because Israel can commit atrocity in Gaza all they want. That has very little repercussions other than destroying the U.S. soft power across the globe. But there's very little possibility for like a hard power pushback. But Iran is a whole different ball game. Iran, they have the capability to strike Israel and strike Israel hard. We saw that. And Iran strike was to demonstrate their capability. It wasn't to hurt Israel. It's to put them on notice, like, we could really hurt you if we want to. But they chose to hold back and do a very calculated and very measured response. That's something that Israel could learn from. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if what Netanyahu come up next, because he's totally out of control at this moment.